Hello everyone and welcome back. Today's level is another pretty decent one actually. While it does delve into the more expected aesthetics from Mario Desert levels, that's still not a bad thing. For one thing, it's a very pretty level. It's got an early evening in the desert look and feel to it that I really like. And a lot of it's set in what appears to be a Middle Eastern style marketplace, which is still a pretty unique setting for Doom or Mario. In fact, more than anything, this level actually gives me serious Sam vibes. Something you may have noticed is that I've started using the golden pistol. Someone in the thread, Purple16 I believe, mentioned that they use the golden pistol as a long-range sniping tool, and it actually does a really good job of that. It has the improved damage and firing rate of a golden weapon, combined with the semi-auto nature of the pistol, and so I'm probably going to be using it to hit faraway enemies more often from here on out. If nothing else, it will certainly cut down on the amount of assault rifle ammo that we go through. This level is actually a good indication of the steadily raising difficulty level. There are a lot of Hell Knights, Hammer Knights, and Spike Ball enemies to go around. There's also a large number of Pokies too. Compare this to the first level in the entire game and you can see just how much more dangerous the stages have gotten. What I like is that it's a very subtle ramp, and once the enemies have been introduced, there's a large variety of situations with them that are explored afterward. There are some enemy layouts we'll have to face in this level that are outright devilish and cruel. And it's awesome. Now that we're getting a good look at the Pokies, they're not really all that dangerous. Their attacks don't deal a lot of damage, but the thing that really sets them apart is just how much health they have. It's not uncommon to have to hit a single Pokie 3 or 4 times with rockets to take one down. And they don't always fly away from the epicenter of an explosion as neatly as they did at the end of the previous video, and so you can't quite count on knocking them into the void. The first big coin is right over here, and it's another one where you have to jump from a higher ledge. I've gone ahead and just cut to the take where I actually both landed the jump and grabbed the coin. Nobody needs to see the Doom guy smashing into the ground several times. Like I said, the golden pistol is a pretty decent sniping weapon. It deals more damage than I gave it credit for. I don't believe I've really talked about these fire enemies before. They're actually surprisingly dangerous because they're just living balls of fire, which as we know by now, deal damage every frame you stand in it. They have to get really close to you to hit you, but if they do, whew, you're gonna feel it. For this video I turned up auto aim a little bit to see if that helped some. That may not have been the best move. Auto-aimed trumpet shots have a tedious habit of hitting the ground near your foe instead of where you're aimed. Or in this case, the tree nearby. And thanks to the inconsistent splash damage, I may as well just fire those shots into the quicksand below for all the good they did. On the other hand, those shotgun blasts killed the fire dude even though I wasn't aiming at him. So in conclusion, auto-aim is a setting of contrasts. I like that the middle section of this level takes place in an Egyptian-style ruin, only further increasing the serious Sam comparisons. It's a logical progression because the whole time we were outside, we were circling around this temple or whatever to get inside of it. This middle section also has some extremely difficult platforming challenges over top of instant death. So on the whole, I'm pretty positive about this level. It has everything I like and you can actually see what you're doing. These spikes are instant death, and if Doom Guy touches them, you can actually hear his corpse gibbing on top of them. So they deal a metric fuck ton of damage on top of, being instant death. And those 2 Hell Knights were particularly mean placement. The arena you have to fight them in is incredibly small, and 2 of them means you're going to have a rough time if you don't do exactly what I did. This is a very good thing. This is the right sort of combat challenge that makes Doom hacks fun. Maybe my tastes have been shifting lately. I've been spending a lot of time messing with Oblige and the Abaddon plugin to create full-length Doom 2 campaigns, and so I've spent a lot of time, for lack of a better term, getting good. If you'd have asked me 2 or 3 weeks ago what I thought about this level, I doubt I'd have been quite so positive, but now, bring on the challenge. If you'll forgive me for getting a little too inside baseball, the previous video about Silhouette Sunset was recorded 3 days ago as of the day this goes up, which should be July 26th, 2020, barring any catastrophic failures. So my feelings about that level have not changed at all. This is another great example of an extremely mean pack of enemies. A Hell Knight, 2 spikes, which I've learned what the spiky ball guys are called, and a wizard. You have to do a lot of ducking around the corner to squeeze off quick shots. They've been placed to keep you from getting across the room, and they do so extremely efficiently. $59 health is not the worst I've done in here. My practice run, which I did right before recording, I got through this particular room with 10 health to spare. 10! Thankfully, these next couple sets of enemies give you a little downtime and some room to breathe. Doom maps where you're always on the edge of your seat because you don't have any tension relief are a chore to play through. This level avoids that pretty handily by spreading out the more intense sections and giving lighter, more token combat in between to keep your interest up. This is actually something that the previous level didn't do as well. If you remember the underwater section of Silhouette Sunset in particular, it was pretty much non-stop combat from one end to the other. While that can be fine on shorter levels, on marathon length ones it can lead to an exhaustion problem. This next series of rooms is almost pure platforming. While the individual jumps aren't difficult on their own, the fact that they're on a timer makes them more treacherous than they first appear. To make matters even more fun, the second big coin is also hidden somewhere in this next series of rooms. This right here is another great set piece just because it's the game letting its hair down, so to speak, and giving us a little fun time with the fire power-up. And just because you can get enemies with fire doesn't make you unstoppable. I died many, many times here on my practice run. Imagine having to tear through this section with just your regular weapons. I can't imagine it would be easy at all and would probably exhaust most of your ammo just to get through it. It actually reminds me of some of the enemy setups I saw on the latter levels of my most recent Oblige campaign. Well, minus the Mario-inspired enemies, naturally. This marketplace brawl is really the big set piece for the third act of the level. All that's left after this is just some token combat encounters and the surprisingly well-hidden big coin. It's actually quite nice to be almost done with the video nearly 9 minutes in. Once we get out of the marketplace, we're going to be circling around to another entrance to that temple we just left. This large plant is kind of a mean ambush, in the bad way this time. If you aren't expecting it, then you're going to turn the corner and get a face full of fireball for your troubles. And you can see what I mean about the Pokies having a lot of health. A direct hit from the trumpet took out a single unit of its body, which means that trumpet shot did about as much as a point-blank shotgun double blast. I'm not sure I'm ever going to stop complaining about the trumpet, just because of how different its damage output feels compared to the real rocket launcher. And this is the last big coin. It's difficult to see unless you look back from a specific angle. It's even more awkward to get down to because you just sort of have to do what I did. You can see the grand entrance to the temple just up ahead. Inside of that is where we can find the level's exit. It's actually just up above a room we were in much earlier in the level. And guarding the temple are 2 Hammer Knights. This is a pretty suitably fun final boss fight for the level. We've got plenty of space in which to fight them, and they have the high ground. But Obi-Wan Kenobi, these Hammer Knights are definitely not. With this level drawing to a close, I want to thank you all for watching. Next time we're going to be heading into the Relic Ruins. Look at it this way. After that will be the fortress, so we're almost done with the desert. 3 out of 5 good regular levels ain't bad. Right? Anyway, I'll see y'all then.